Hello, Saturday morning. Sacred Spiritual Healer here with our last reading for the series of the Fairies Oracles with Brian Ford and Jessica Macbeth. So these cards were dealt out by Spirit for this morning. So the messages that I read from the book will be pertinent to your energies for today. Reading only from the book so that people can have a new perspective in which each of these cards mean from the actual book. Usually we channel the messages, but went through the whole deck. So we've done the whole series now in this book. So if you want to learn more what each card means, then you can watch the series of videos of each card, and they are the actual red message from the book. Okay, so starting off, I'm just going to show all the cards to you first. Look at the card as I show it to you and just say, ask yourself if you think it's a positive or negative type energy and how it would pertain to your life at this time. And then I'll put it in view during the reading as well. And the last one. Okay, so we're going to start off with number 58. Heft the footer. Oh, I remember this one. Heft the footer. This is a funny one. He checks your stinky feet. 58. Heft the footer. Being real. Earthing, grounding, and centering. Just as life is becoming surprising, exciting, and very interesting, though not necessarily fun, heft the footer fungus. The footer fungus fairy comes along to check out our feet. He picks up one foot in his remarkable strong hands and looks it over for the fluff between the toes. The smelly fungus and dirty, untrimmed toenails. If he finds any of these signs of disrespect to our feet and for the Earth Mama walking on her with grubby feet, yuck, he marks them by making holes in our socks. If things are really bad, he sends mice to eat our dancing shoes, so we will be forced to dance barefoot in the dewy meadows under the moon. If this happens that we have snow instead of dew, that is just our tough luck for having dewy feet. Warning, Faf may have fungus on his fingers from someone else's foot, and if our feet are not clean, both energetically and physically, the fungus are apt to take root. He leaves that foot in the air while he inspects the other foot, lifting it up as well. Having done his inspection job, he wanders off, leaving us standing there with both feet in the air, and Faf's snickers, usually confused expression on your faces. This is not a good position for a human to be in. This is a test. Repeat, this is a test. You have been warned. This is a test to get both feet back on terra firma ground. Do not try to do anything important or make any significant decisions until you have come back to Earth. Anything you attempt to do while standing with your feet in the air is apt to not work. If you are unlucky, it will work, but not at all in the way you intended or hoped. So, wash your feet. Quick fairy tips for earthing. Stroke your feet gently with both hands, each one for 5 minutes. You can also check for holes in your socks while doing this. Paint your toenails red, then your toes say a cherry, or should be cheery, heya, to you when you look at them. And this reminds you to keep them on the ground, even when you can't see them. It will probably still remind you, especially if you are a man. So if you come across this in a reading, it says breathe, ground yourself, center. If you can't remember how, read Preparing for a Reading, starting on page 181. Maintain or recover sanity by saying, dang earth, do this now! Exclamation point. Important information is coming your way, but you can only receive it properly if your feet are on the ground and your head is well connected to the rest of your body. Well, I guess air signs are in trouble. The transformative power of fairy turns muck into magic, dross into shining gold, black despair into crystalline joy. As life grows out of death, good can grow from all things that we call bad. Brian. That's your first card. Number 2, ecstasy. I think it's ecstasis, but what number 2? Ecstasis. Ecstasy, joy, rapture, motivation. Yeah. Ecstasis is the song, the energy and power that fills the unity. There is nothing else but that song. No voice to sing, no ears to hear, just the infinite and eternal song, the energy of which completely fills eternity and infinity. The rhapsody song of bliss is what powers the cosmos and what gives it order and harmony. It is the song that holds the atoms together, the stars in their places, the galaxies in theirs. It keeps our hearts beating, and it is the love and trust that flows through them. In unity, there is nothing but the song, the outpouring of undifferentiated energy, the power felt in a mystical experience. The void, so often spoken of in a spiritual literature, is not empty, but full, so full that there is no space between one singing and the next. There is nowhere to stand outside this unity and look at it, marveling. At the level, at the world's reality, the fairies as well, we have the sensory illusion that you and I are separate, that we are not directly connected, that what happens when a finger is lifted on a small planet circling the farthest star in the most distant galaxy does not affect us. We need this illusion because at this stage of our evolution, we are not ready to be aware of the full song. In more than very short bursts, even if that, the singers are capable of this, but we are not. At least we are not able to yet do this. It may take a while for us to get there, but that is where we are headed, knowingly or unknowingly. Our ears are too small to hear this song. Only our souls are big enough. The song rings through everything, the wind in the trees, the radiant stars, the beating of a mouse's heart, the rumbling of a digestive system, the quiet gurgle of a plant's caterpillars, the deep, unheard hum of earth. Scientists have recently discovered an unheard part of Earth's song, which is very deep and very slow. Some of them think it may be caused by changing atmospheric pressure, like a gentle, slow patting on a drum. Of course, changes in the atmospheric come primarily from changes in the solar wind and radiation. So, in essence, we see that Earth Mother is being gently patted, caressed by Father Sun, and she purrs and hums in response, as do we, her children. Everything is linked. Everything is a part of the one song, the ecstasis. If you come across this card in a reading, okay, ecstasis is something people seek. It feels better than good. It feels well, ecstatic. We experience it in tiny bursts and in bigger surges. It enables us to recognize the sacred nature of our own being as an experienced fact, not merely a theory or article of faith. Ecstasy is not something we can make within ourselves, but something that flows through us When we open ourselves up to it, it fills us with a power and with motivation to grow, to become what we have the positive potential of being, and to fulfill our purpose in being here, our soul purpose, and now on this planet. When we are feeling these surges of joy, we are empowered, and we know that we are on the appropriate track for us, the track that leads to greater meaning and fulfillment in our lives, our life's purpose, our mission. This card in a reading says, among other things, go for it. It confirms that we are on course, moving in a good direction, and that we are in harmony with the great song. It says great joy and great accomplishments are within our reach. Its song also lights up and empowers the cards around it, healing the past, intensifying the moment, enlightening the future. Number 54, Epona's wild laughter. To me, this looks like she's protecting him. Number 54. Oh, Epona's wild daughter. Boy, did I have that wrong. Okay. Epona's wild daughter, 54. Inner shadows, nightmares, depression, madness, and growth. In the bleakest part of the night, Dorcha comes, wearing her crown of fairy stars. She kneels on the ancient owl, bearer of the hidden wisdom of the night, and facing into the past and a clear, unflinching gaze, she holds us. We are held immobile, inwardly focused by her comforting yet implacable, light-filled hands. She asks us riddles that often seem impossible to answer at first, and yet she will not let us go until we find the solution within ourselves. She is one of the great teachers of fairies, but her method of teaching makes Socrates' questions look like child's play. We must expect this of Dorcha, because her lessons are about the shadow side of ourselves, the things we fear, our insecurities, our self-doubts, and our denials. She is a practitioner of tough love therapy. Dorcha is the wild daughter of Epona, Lady of the Horse and of the Moon, and she takes us through the dark, hidden side of ourselves into the healing and fulfillment. From the temporary madness of rage, premenstrual tension, and great stress to the deeper and longer psychosis, she drives us on the journey through our internal hell. When we complete the journey, we are transfigured and transformed and transcending our old selves. We can never be frightened by that darkness again, whether our own or that of others, but until that journey is fully complete, we exist in a state of vulnerability, which is where most of us are most of the time. Notice, please, that it is she, and not her more gentle sister, Lacey, who wears the crown of stars, a mark of service, compassion, great wisdom. Dorcha's element is moonlight, the fifth element, which tempers the tests of the spirit. Through her teachings, our inner conflicts and struggles become, as they are resolved, our greatest strength. If you come across this in a reading, Epona's wild daughter Dorcha is the Sphinx whose riddles must be answered lest we otherwise be destroyed by our own internal conflict. Dorcha reminds us that we cannot go forward until we have faced something buried within us that is holding us back. Her presence in a reading tells us that finding and working through this is a task of some urgency. We can expect help in this form from other people, from the fairies, and from our dreams, but we must be open to these difficult questions and answers, and be ready to face things about ourselves that are not as we would wish them to be. She urges us to heal the unresolved issues about who we really are, what we truly want to be. This part of the required course in Self-Transformation 101 that we are all enrolled in here on planet Earth. The answers to her riddles often come in a sudden burst of enlightenment. Like the solution to a Zen koan, we may watch a leaf fall or catch a glimpse in the tiny silver of the new moon in the sky and suddenly be hit by the answer she asks. Before that happens, we usually work long and hard upon that question, searching and digging for an answer. The realization when we really have it will be transformative. We will no longer be the people that we once were. You don't like this interpretation? Well, I have been telling you all along that we, you and I and everyone else, will all receive varying messages from the fairies in the cards. Yours may well differ from mine. Ask Dorcha what message she has for you. And don't be surprised if her answer is another question or riddle. She and I both wish you well in solving it with all our hearts. That's kind of cool. I've had those aha moments. I'm sure we all have. 45. Caitlin, the Sylph. 45. Let's see. Caitlin, the Sylph. Acute intellect, quickness, mental synthesis, and discernment. Caitlin glitters and glimmers brightly. She scatters a special fairy dust that energizes the mind. However, energy is not everything. And the fairy dust that actually makes minds brighter as well as more energized is more rare, and she distributes it much less often. She is full of curiosity and wants to go everywhere and see everything and have every question answered. Like the 2-year-old asking, why? She wants to know it all, even the things that by their very nature cannot be known to the conscious mind. Tayton reminds us that ideas cannot be confined. They are wild and free. They move fast. Some ideas are more contagious than the flu, and they move quickly from head to head, sometimes illuminating and sometimes burning out with a flicker and a flash and a faint whiff of ash. The slip is a fragment of the earth's soul in fairy form. In the fairy realm, light comes from above, but from within. Like other fairies, Sylph lights up the world around them, energizing all who come into contact with them and with their quick fairy radiance. We humans also light up the world around us with our own auras. It is a pity that so few of us have learned the mental disciplines to be able to perceive that light. However, Tayton is not the one to consult about that. Try Lacey, card number 38, or the Dark Lady, card number 20, for that one. What Tayton bestows is more ephemeral, but nevertheless of value. She is an awakener, one who startles us into seeing and thinking a new and exciting way of seeing things. She loves to sit on a teenage and college age discussion about the profound questions of life. She is full of bright ideas and willing to discuss them at length. She is not too bothered about whether the discussion makes sense or not. Ideas with wings are her joy, and mental stimulation is her game. Tayton has flight. Like thought, she is not bound by the rules of mass and momentum. Therefore, she can radically change direction without notice more quickly than a hummingbird. Okay, so if you come across this in a reading, what we see here is mental quickness, adaptability, and enthusiasm. Ideas and opinions abound. A few are brilliant, but others vary from mediocre to downright silly. Be selective. Mental psyche abilities may be awakening at this time. Independent thinking is in operation. New ideas and new versions of old ideas are creating an exciting, effervescent atmosphere Avoid excess and extremes. Minds may change often as new ideas and new ways of seeing bubble to the surface. Out of conflict and confusion, resolved by goodwill and clear thinking, a new and better understanding may come to you. Number 35. The fawn. Understanding the nature of nature, natural wisdom, natural magic. The merry and irrepressible fawn, dancing in the garden, frolicking in the woods, playing in the meadows, singing out, "Come dance with me." It is he who knows the secrets of nature. He knows where the robin's nestlings are hidden, where the mice lurk, who lives down that rabbit burrow, and where the pixies like to dance. He teaches us to understand, appreciate, and express the part of ourselves that dance in the moonlight with the fairies, sings to the dawn stars with the birds, and hums with the blossoming flowers. This is also the part of us that plants seeds with a loving pat that says, "Bless you and grow," and provides healing energy for doing just that. No fuss, no bother, just intention and natural human magic. Natural magic is simple. We are all full of it, and the more we are true to our own nature, the more we have access to our own magic. When we are caught up in the believing in limitations imposed by ourselves or others, we inhibit the flow of energy, which is the melody of the ecstasy song of the cosmos, card number 2. As it sweeps through us, opening ourselves back up to that song can be a long and complex business once we have closed down some way. It requires a great deal of thought and self-observation, and perhaps also some help of others in the form of formal therapy or simple friendship. However, the process of opening is made easier and more gentle if we allow Mama Nature and our own natural magic to help us. Spending time in the gardens, our parks, our forests, our open spaces help us to reconnect, but so does growing herbs and flowers and scented geraniums in pots on our windowsills. So does looking at the stars, observing the state of the sky, and listening to the wind. It helps if we simply observe the natural process and changes around us. Mama Nature is also up to something. No natural place is the same for 2 moments in a row. Life is about process, not stasis. We are processes, not things. We constantly change. Even when we resist, even when we think we are stuck, "Come with me," sings the fawn, tugging our hand. It certainly is futile to struggle against the flow of the universe, so we might as well dance with him. Stuckness is an illusion, the fawn says. Dance with me, and it will all come all right. And do you know, he's right. At least many of the blocks in ourselves and our lives will come right much more quickly if we reconnect with him. Dancing, opening our hearts to him, and Mama Nature, they too are filled with the magic just like us. So if you get this in a reading, natural magic is happening when things flow almost effortlessly. That is a sign that natural magic is at work. Enjoy it. A very important part of natural magic is simply allowing the energy to flow through us. This means both giving and receiving freely. Let the energy flow. Don't push it. Don't try to control it. Just dance with it. Trust it. And remember to keep returning to the source for inspiration and to keep your hearts filled with love and light. Number 42. Mancer, he's so cute. Small clues, details, the messages are everywhere. Patience. The Myomancer reads the past, present, and potential of all beings in the movement of mice. Mike is particularly fond of reading the movements of field mice, as they are livelier and better fed than church mice. Mike could learn the same things by reading berries or the patterns made by fallen leaves or any one of a billion other things, but his specialty is mice. He can learn endless things from the way they twitch their little whiskers and hold their tails. He sees hidden information in the patterns of growth and coloration in their fur, the way the wind ripples it, and how they preen themselves. Little things can tell us a lot. Everything bears messages about the universe around us. Studying these details sometimes enables us to deduce the whole. The entire universe is one piece, and each fragment of that one unity, card number 1, reflects and is connected to all the others. That famous philosopher Anonymous once said, Anonymous, the lifting of a finger disturbs the farthest star. Mick says it works the other way around as well. He advises us to make a slow, observant study of the little things and their even smaller details in the world around us. He says that such study not only helps us enhance our understanding of life, unity, and everything, but it also helps us develop a joyful presence, patience, and a deeper philosophy. If you get Mick the Myomancer in your reading, attention to details is very important at this time. Little things are not only important in themselves, but they also give you important information about larger things. Look for the inner hidden meaning in ordinary objects, happenings, and experiences. Life is trying to teach you. Oh, still keeps going. I thought it was done. Life is trying to teach you something by speaking to you gently. With luck and application, you will get the message before it has to speak to you more loudly, like a tower moment. I added that part. Body language in humans as well as mice may give you very useful information at this time, especially if you learn to read it properly. The clues to the answers you seek and the things you need to know are all around you. You are suddenly by omens, potents, and signs, but the signs are not written on billboards in large letters. They are in the small happenings of your life. Be awake, be aware. Hint, if you work out what the question really is, it is much easier to recognize the answer when it comes to you. All right. So that is Saturday morning's reading for you. Again, it is Brian Fraud's decks of the Fairy Oracle. It says, working with the fairies to find insight, wisdom, and joy. And I'll show you the book again. An awesome deck. All right. I hope you have a blessed day. Email me if you'd like a personal reading.